Overview of the KR Sabers flagship install that I just did with the exterior visible accent strip onto it. Obviously brass KR flagship, it's been weathered with brass black. Has a custom hand cut cutout onto it here, 3D printed sleeve, leather wrap. This is from a One Replica's SSOB, as is the thumb screw on the other side. Other than that, it is kind of a standard KR Sabers brass flagship. So we'll go over the kind of general outside first. Thumb screw here, there is no set screw needed to undo anything. Then that will slide out your blade plug. It is a long blade plug. It has a lot of blade depth in it. I'll leave that out for the moment. It does have a brass top that is weathered to match the actual hilt, so it gives it a nice look when it's on display. The inside, as you roll this off, there. You have Proffie 2.2. The accent strip is actually covered by a piece of diffusion foam, as well as the brass mesh that I've got there. And then I've got it kind of dirtied up to match when you're viewing it on the outside. 24mm speaker on this end. You have an 18650 removable battery, kill switch, and then this is a translucent auxiliary switch. The chassis itself is actually held in by the red button. This is a little bit different for me. It was just something I was trying out because I had the button here and I'm like, hey, that could kind of work. Do not ever rotate or twist this one. You have to lift it and you can wiggle it left to right and it will pop fully out. As you can see, it has a plug socket on it. That's why you do not twist this actual switch itself. At which point, slight wiggle, it comes out and you'll see the little socket that I made for it there. It has a stock NPXL V3 on it, and it has a NeoPixel accent here. Under this pixel accent is a switch. You can hear it go click, click. So that actually allows the switch to be used with the lighting coming through the actual translucent piece that I just showed you a second ago. Other than that, that's kind of the general overview of the chassis. When you go to put this in, make sure that that little auxiliary switch is fully seated into the chassis. And then you mainly line up this cutout with that little plunger. And it will slide in gently. You kind of line up, as you can see, it has a little bit of a play. So that would be incorrect. Going that way would be incorrect. You want to line it up right around the middle. And then for me, I find it easier to put that ring in first. And it just sits on the outside part of the hilt. And then take the switch itself, line up those two little pins. And of course, I'm doing this with a camera in between me and the hilt. There it is. And it just slots down and fits in. Go ahead and turn it on.
It takes strength to resist the dark side. Only the weak embrace it.
This is currently all the default Proffie fonts. I've got a couple of boot sounds added to change it up a little bit, but all the fonts are the defaults. I'm going to use my arm as a bit of a shadow over those accents, and then you'll also see on my pointer finger here the lit switch. So we'll open this up. You can see nice and bright, even with the plug in. It still stays nice and bright backlight behind those two shrouds. And then this lights up. Go over to the next one. This one, this is actually a battery meter. It'll stay yellow, but it does reduce further towards the pommel as the battery gets low. So you can tell this, well, probably about, I'd say about 2/3 charge right now. I've been playing with the config and changing up blade styles, so that's probably why it's a little bit wore down. This one's blue, and it goes into a pulse on that handle. And for the most part, I believe most of the fonts, the aux button over here actually matches the blade color, even when powered off for the most part. The animations change a lot, but for the most part, that switch will match. This font must not have a font sound on it, but you can see it's got a pretty good animation in the handle and a similar coloring animation here. It does have kind of a more of a purple color. Oh, and it does have gesture controls. So the next one will swing on.
Slave 1, 2.1.
This is Brian Connor's Slave 1 font. If the blade is in, I've got the full blade style where you see the seismic charge go out, it explodes, sends the blast up and down the blade. So it actually being a free font and a really cool, neat looking blade style and animation, I've included it. Used some of the colors from his default blade style for the accents here. And we'll trigger it just once. And then, of course, the iconic blaster cannons from the Slave 1.
Smooth Jedi.
So this one, I've kind of replicated Luke's blinking arrows. So you get the green and red blinks here. When the saber is off, the switch, the aux switch, you'll see, blinks green when the green arrow blinks. When on, the switch will blink red when the red part blinks. So a little bit of a neat effect, a little throw to, you know, some Luke nostalgia.
Rogue Commander.
For this one, the accent strip is actually kind of divided up into 4 pieces. I've got different either blinks or pulses for the most part on all 4. And then when it's turned on, they do change a little bit. And being a Vader font, we've got a very nice red blade.
Smooth fuzz.
And then we're back to the beginning. So that's kind of the overview. Obviously, turning it on and off is just pull this down, hit the kill switch, and you'll be able to keep it in storage for a while because that kill switch will keep your battery from draining down. Obviously, the removable battery, you can take it out for display purposes also. But this is kind of the overview of it. I don't think I'd be doing a blade demo. There's a couple of different blades on this overall. Some audio flicker, hump flicker. I think the smoke blade, most of it came from Fett's library for the main blades. So, you know, demoing those is kind of redundant. He's shown those off and they've been showing off on many sabers around. So won't be showing off the blade styles at this moment. Thanks for watching.